If you feel embarrassed, impatient, or awkward being at square one in your coaching business, you're not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. Welcome back to She Coaches Coaches. I'm Candy Motzek, your host, and thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here today. This episode is designed especially for those of you who are either right at the beginning of your coaching journey and you're feeling nervous and a little unsure, or maybe you're taking the next big growth step. Maybe you're launching your own podcast or a YouTube channel, or you've decided to show up live on video. Here's the thing. Anytime you've just started something new, this episode is going to help you. Maybe you just finished your training or you're still in training and you're just not sure what's going to happen. I've got you. So, did you hear that? So many maybes. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe the other. Really, anytime you are starting something new and you feel like a beginner, it can be uncomfortable. No matter where you're starting from, today's conversation is going to help every coach who needs to hear it, because we're talking about something that feels kind of vulnerable, kind of tender. It's a little uncomfortable. And I don't want you to have to hide that feeling from yourself. When you can feel that feeling and allow yourself to have those beginner feelings, you're going to find that you move through them so much more quickly. So today we're going to talk about that feeling, the beginner feeling. And I want you to know to start out that that feeling is normal. It's to be expected. There's nothing going wrong here. There's nothing wrong with you. And there's certainly no indication about your future success as a coach. So, more than anything, let's just take a breath together and soften into that feeling and to allow it to be. Oftentimes, being a beginner can bring up some old emotions. And so, for many of us, those also stirs up some old fears. Maybe you grew up being praised because you always knew the answer, or you got a gold star because you were the responsible one. You're dependable. You're the one who knows how to figure things out. Maybe you built a career and you've been an expert for years. People look up to you, but now you're starting something new, something where you don't feel the same level of confidence, something where you don't have the evidence yet, something where you don't have a proven track record. And yeah, that contrast can feel really jarring. It can feel vulnerable and sort of like you've stepped into a new identity, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Here's what I hear so many of the new coaches say when they're in session with me. I feel like I should be further ahead, or I'm embarrassed to tell my friends or colleagues that I'm just starting this new thing. I'm scared people will know that I don't really know what I'm doing. And all in all, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to make a fool of myself. Hey, if this is you, you are in good company. I just think back to a few years ago when I was starting this podcast. That was one of the things that really hung me up, is I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? People are going to think I'm kind of silly doing this podcast. But I stepped out anyway. And here we are, 320 odd episodes into the future, right? Your brain is just reacting. It is reacting to the fear of uncertainty. It's not reacting to your potential or your ability. So let's talk about what's really going on. When you step into a new identity, your brain starts to scan, and it's scanning for danger. It doesn't like uncertainty. It doesn't like that unknown. All of that newness takes energy, and that energy can feel a little scary, but it can also feel kind of exciting, right? So it whispers things to you like, are you sure this is a good idea? What if people judge you? What if you fail? These thoughts are not proof that you're not ready. These thoughts are not proof that you don't have the ability. They are simply your brain trying to keep you safe. Here's the thing. Feeling like a beginner does not mean that you are behind. It's a sign that you're growing and expanding and that you're learning. And this is how you build confidence. I want you to also consider that you're not really starting from zero. This is really important. You are not a complete blank slate. You are not inexperienced. You are not lacking any kind of value. I was on a coaching call with one of my clients last week, and she said, "Oh, we were talking about the pricing for her new coaching program." She says, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can charge that much for my coaching. I'm too new." And I asked her, "Are you really? Are you actually new?" And she paused. And then while she was thinking, I could see her eyes jumping around, thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, she looked straight at me and she said, "Wait a minute. I've actually got years' experience doing this." Now, she has just finished her coach training, but she has years as a leader. She has years at listening, giving good, solid feedback, holding space for people, asking powerful questions. And when she realized that she wasn't brand new at coaching, she had years of experience in this area, she just inhaled and she could accept that she does have this experience. My guess is the same is true for you. You've got decades of life experience. You've got professional experience, relationship experience. Maybe you've got parenting experience or problem solving experience. You already know a lot. You know how to hold space and listen. You know how to help people make decisions. And you know how to care about people. Those are all coaching skills. Most new coaches underestimate how much they actually bring to the table. They focus on what they don't know. They focus on that scary, "you're a beginner" feeling, and they forget that they already have a lifetime of experience. So I want you to take a minute and remember for yourself that you're not actually starting from scratch. You are learning some new skills, but you have got a lifetime of wisdom and experience that you're bringing to your clients and your coaching business. So remember too, that even if you feel like a beginner, it doesn't mean that you're unqualified. This is what I see so many heart-centered coaches get stuck with. They think, because I feel a little uncertain, it must mean I'm not ready. But that's not the entire truth. Feeling like a beginner doesn't mean that you're not a good coach. It doesn't mean that you should wait. It doesn't mean you need some more training. Feeling like a beginner simply means this: you are at an early stage in your coaching practice, and beginnings are supposed to feel a little bit wobbly, right? This is where you learn who you are as a coach. Here's something you may not hear often: your voice, your style, your presence, and your way of holding space. These things don't fully form until you're actually coaching clients. Let me repeat this because it's really important. Your voice as a coach, your style, your presence, and energy, they develop as you coach more people. You learn by doing. You grow by trying. You expand by showing up even before you feel ready. And the beginning is not the place where you've got to be perfect. And in fact, you can never be perfect. You are wonderful the way you are. It's the place where you discover who you are becoming. I've been coaching for years and I am still growing as a coach. I'm never going to be a fully finished thing, and I'm certainly never going to be perfect. I'd like to give you permission to allow yourself to be part of that growing journey too. So if you're listening and you're thinking, "Wait a minute, I want to feel more confident as a new coach, but I don't quite know where to start or what to do," this is exactly what we're going to explore together on a coaching success mapping call. We're going to look at your strengths, your presence, your gifts, your clarity, and your goals. And together, we're going to come together and help you map out your next steps. We're going to help you build that confidence from the inside out. I'm going to share more about it at the end of the episode, but let's just keep going here. Comparison makes being a beginner harder than it has to be. So let's talk about that comparison game for a moment. It is so easy to look at the other coaches around you and think, "Oh, wow, they're so far ahead. I could never get there." But what you're not seeing is you don't see how they felt as beginners. You're not seeing the awkward sessions. You're not seeing inside their heart and mind when they were feeling worried, when they had a tiny audience, when they were being a little bit messy getting started. You're seeing their chapter 10, not their chapter 1. Your beginning is not supposed to look like somebody else's middle. I know you've heard it before, but I really want you to take that in. Your beginning is not supposed to look like someone else's middle. Every single successful coach that you have ever met or ever will meet was a brand new beginner at one point too. You both have a similar starting point. You're both starting from a lifetime of experience, and they just happen to have started as a coach, an official coach, just a bit before you. And now it is your turn. This is simply a stage for you. You build confidence by taking the next tiny step. Confidence never is going to come from waiting. It is going to come from doing. Every conversation, every practice session, every invitation that you send, every little moment of courage, these are the things that help you believe in yourself. You don't need to take a giant leap. You only need to take that next small step. And every step that you take is another piece of evidence that you can do this. So, to wrap it up, if you hate feeling like a beginner, I want you to know that you are not supposed to be comfortable. Beginnings can be uncomfortable. They're stretching us, challenging us, bringing up all those deep-seated insecurities, but they're also filled with energy and possibility. They are beautiful and part of your transformation. This is where your courage becomes real. And this is where your coaching identity begins to form. Feeling like a beginner means that you're in motion. You are becoming that best new version of you. And that is something to celebrate. If you want more clarity and confidence as you begin your coaching journey, I would love to support you. Book a coaching success mapping call. I've put the link in the episode notes. We're going to sit down side by side and look at where you are right now, what you bring to the table, and the simplest next steps to help you reach your goals. You're going to walk away feeling grounded and supported. You'll find that link in the show notes, and I can't wait to talk to you